Hello, everybody. It just turned noon on the dot where I'm tuning in from. How is everybody? Let me know that the audio is coming through. You guys can see me. It looks like we have 19 people in the chat today. I'm super excited to be here. Welcome to you guys and happy Saturday. We are going to wait probably the first 5 minutes. We'll just do some introductions with each other, and I'll explain the group chat section where we can communicate. I see a few of you already popping in the Q&A. So if you haven't located that yet on your Zoom screen, that's where we're going to communicate. And that's where we're going to do exercises together in the next hour. Um, I would love to also, for my new people here that have never been in one of my workshops, if you could find the raise hand feature and just raise your hand quickly so I can say hello. It's very nice to be able to have people come back and return, but also to have new people so that I know that all of this information is landing for the first time for you guys. So that's really great. Always want to start with saying how proud I am and how proud you guys should be of yourself for showing up on a Saturday and investing in your career. So while we wait for more people to tune in that Q&A box, if you haven't already, just say hello, introduce yourself, let me know where you're tuning in from and why you signed up for today's workshop. Specifically for me, my name's Alecia. I'm tuning in from South Florida. I'm originally from Connecticut, where I got my start in New York City modeling back in 2016. Took some acting classes in my early career, had a few ups and downs, which some of you guys who come to my workshops often, you know large parts of my story. But basically, I teach about 8 different workshops on a rotating basis. I'm here normally about 4 times a month. May, I'm only going to be here 3 times a month, but they're all workshops that I developed because I think that there's so much information that you learn along the way. But if I can give it to you guys early on, I feel like it will definitely help you because it's a resource that I wish I had when I was first starting out. And as you guys know from my previous workshops, I always try to incorporate strong mindset techniques to really help you guys in this industry. It's a tough one. I was having a conversation about this industry this week, actually, and somebody said to me, that is an industry that asks everything of you and makes no guarantees in return, which I am living that. I've been living that for 10 years of my career. And back in 2020, so about 6 years ago now, I got the opportunity to start doing these workshops with you guys. And that has been so rewarding for me to be able to give back all the knowledge that I've learned in the past 10 years, support you guys in your journey, and just be able to connect. So today's workshop is all about social media, which is a funny concept because back in 2016, Instagram was just kind of becoming a thing. But now, raise your hands if you guys use Instagram. It's become quite a large part of this industry. Um, in so much that when you are marketed for a job or promoted for a job, they're going to just include your handle so that casting directors can find you on Instagram. So, my goal for you guys for this workshop is to first create an understanding of why it's really important and essential that we use this app if we want to break out as an actor, as a model, if we want to have create that visibility that we need in this industry. And also, I want to give you guys kind of the framework and the foundation of the mindset that goes into building a brand online, representing yourself. Because you can have the greatest photos in your portfolio, recent headshots, great digitals, great auditions. But the social media reveals a living, breathing layer of you that back in the day, for fashion specifically, models would get hired just kind of as a clothing hanger, you know? It's how you wore the clothes. But now, in this day and age, when we have so many people building brands and clothing companies with meaning, they want to make sure that they find people who are actually in alignment with their brand and their values and maybe can relate to you on some other level of just having the look that they're looking for. So that's why today's workshop is so important and so special to me. I want to quickly pop in the Q&A and see what you guys are saying. Thank you everybody for introducing yourself. Social media novice. I'm not familiar with that word, Todd. Can you educate me, please? Mindset and skills. Let's learn it all. Absolutely. I'm a rookie trying to develop my resume, have some experience, and a lead singer in a rock band. Amazing. Well-rounded. A lot to offer. I've had a few hosts go semi-viral already. I want to learn how to expand that reach. Yes, let's get into it. Does a social media account make or break a career? I wouldn't say not having it would break a career, but if you stay tuned for this workshop, I'm going to explain to you all the ways that it can help you. So Instagram is like an audition. A lot of times, and raise your hand if you guys have submitted for jobs online where you don't even actually have to put your foot in the door and walk into a room anymore. Everything is online. So they're going to want to see your real-time portfolio. So I have images in my portfolio and it's used as a package is what the agents call it. You send off the model package, they browse through your photos, your digitals, they look at your measurements. But then they hop on over to your Instagram to get that real-time portfolio, to get that other layer, to see how you are interacting with your social environment and how you are marketing yourself and what is your vibe. So, I'm here to tell you that 99% of the time, they're going to want to see what you've got going online. They're going to want you to drop your handles. I really just focus on Instagram. I don't focus too much on TikTok or YouTube or anything like that. But I know there's a lot of layers to social media use, but we're going to focus on Instagram because it's photo sharing. And that essentially provides another portfolio that can give you more depth and give you a better understanding, give casting directors a better understanding of who you are, what you have to offer. Um, when you provide that online material, this can definitely translate into more bookings. So, let's say your portfolio doesn't have videos of you living and breathing and interacting with skincare products or doing a skit or a monologue or something. You can upload that to your Instagram, and then that would translate into more bookings because they can see you in the role already that you are acquiring, that you're trying to acquire. It definitely shows professionalism and consistency when you are posting, when you have fresh content, when your creative mind is on. We are in a creative industry. So when we are engaged and connected, it definitely shows that we are committed. And then we're going to talk a lot about personal branding in this workshop. That's your vibe, that's your style, that's your personality, that's how you make people feel. That's why people want you to work for them on their project. Think about on the other end, if you were a casting director, we're going to switch roles here, or not even a casting director. Let's say you were like the director of a film or the writer of a film. you would want to make sure that the person that you're putting into that role is going to breathe life into it in a way that only you can hope for. So it's really important that we show them more than just our portfolio, our digitals, our audition. We have so much to offer on Instagram. Within a few swipes, you can go down to last year's posts. Doesn't take an awful lot of time to browse somebody's Instagram and see their growth over time. So, 5 things that are required to build an authentic brand for yourself. We're going to talk about the word authentic a lot. Knowing your identity and what sets you apart, your style, your personality, your voice, your values, your quirks. So I'm thinking a lot about like my Instagram, and by no means am I like this Instagram guru. But it's very simplified. I care about fashion. I care about beauty. I live in Florida, so I'm able to film in beautiful, warm environments. And I have 2 dogs. I'm 35 and I live alone, and I'm navigating this industry as a model. So all of that is integrated into my profile. Very simple things. You don't have to overthink it. Being consistent. So let's say you leave this workshop today, you go start an Instagram, you post a few posts, and then you don't ever post again. So if they go to your Instagram and they see that your last post was in 2022, it's not really going to give off a vibe of dedication. So we want to make sure that we're consistent in our posts and that we show our real personality. Like I said, so many things are not discovered about an individual through pictures, through auditions. Sometimes you need to provide that extra layer to yourself. We're going to talk all about showing up online, captions, and all of that. But for your real personality, we can do BTS content. So my favorite trending thing right now is like the behind the scenes and then the shot. So they put video of you. For me, I'm a model, so me posing, and then they display the shots. So in that BTS behind the scenes, you could be laughing, you could be doing silly, but then all of a sudden you show the pose and it's this refined artwork so they can see both sides, the full breakdown of how it happens, daily life moments. I took a quick video like last month of me toasting with a glass of Prosecco in a dress with my dogs in my kitchen. And it kind of really popped off on my Instagram. A lot of people appreciated that. And it's kind of just that authenticity, that realness, right? What you wear, things you do, places you go, what you love. Those can all be incorporated. Sharing your journey, aka development. So every talent, especially if you're new, goes through a stage of development where you're still new. One of my favorite things back in 2018 when my career was just taking off was writing long captions about where I was at, how I was feeling, heart to hearts, or new breakthroughs. I remember I took a selfie when I took the ferry to New Jersey to get to a casting, and I took a selfie of the view of New York City from Jersey. And I just had an honest little caption that said, navigating the city alone is scary. My agent sent me to New Jersey today for a casting and I made it, and here's the view. So little moments like that, those are accessible on my Instagram so people can see how far that I've come. So those are your growths, your struggles, wins and losses, training, new work, and I like to call them bids for connection, where you're kind of reaching out and providing another layer that's just not, here's my new headshot. Creating value for your audience too, providing tips, inspiration, anything you've learned, any advice, and then being an expander. Now, I don't think we have time to cover what an expander is, but that is going to be in the workshop on May 4th. It's a Monday night if you guys want to mark your calendars now. That is a very important layer of that workshop. So, understanding your values. So, we just talked about how we create an authentic brand. And one thing that goes into that as well is our values. So think about, again, I like to just switch roles here. Let's say you're casting, you're part of a production crew, and you have 80 people who show up and audition, and you're laying out all their photos next to each other, watching and you're trying to narrow it down. So talent in this day and age is great to have, but I want you guys to also think about that if you're filming a movie, you're going to be on set for like 15-hour days. You're going to be spending a lot of time with these people. So they don't always necessarily book the most talented, the one who absolutely nailed the audition. This is why they go on your social media to get a little view of who you are, if you would be a joy to work with, if you are in alignment with the crew. So often, what happens through our branding is people pick up on our values. This is how people understand you without even knowing you. So that value, oops, I spelled that wrong. Values build connection. So instead of, let's say for modeling, they're looking for the perfect, 6-foot man to model a new tuxedo, or they have a commercial that they need a man to walk through the shot in a tuxedo. And they have a whole lineup of handsome men who are that height, who could fit the description. But then they go on your Instagram and they see, because you get to their heart and they say, oh my gosh, look at the picture of their cat. And look at this crazy hike that they did at the top of Mount Rainier last year with their fiance. You know, I see them reading in this picture here. So it provides more layers and they can see what you value and who you are. And they say, we love this person. We're going to go with them. So again, I want you guys to understand that that is the power of the Instagram is you are in control of how you want to represent yourself. An agency can only represent you with photos, measurements, maybe some digitals, headshots, but it's up to you to kind of fill in the gaps. So we want to look at social media as a way to provide that information so that we can be seen, let ourselves be witnessed, and express and have people look at us as more than just, okay, this person auditioned. Did they know the lines or not? It's like, who is this person as a human? What do they value? And when we talk about branding, it's not necessarily because you have a brand or a business, you're trying to sell a product. You are the product. So think of yourself as the brand. Think of yourself as the CEO. So what's important to you that people know about you? So when we build a brand, we want to have three top values in mind. So I've provided a list here for you. Now, if you scan through and you want to pop in the Q&A, what top three are calling to you? What do you align with most? And that will be your pillars for your brand. And we'll talk about why these values are so important. Actually, we kind of already did talk about why the values are so important. So think about if somebody shares a value with you that you so freely talk about or express, boom, you've already created that relatability there. So mine from this list lately, and it's okay for things to change over time. You're not locked into these. I would say determination. Definitely beauty. I like my hair products and my skincare products. I do teach a workshop on skincare if you guys are ever see that offered. It's not often offered as often, but it is a very helpful class. Um, and I'd say optimism. Maybe optimism for being positive about the trajectory of our careers. I'm interested to see what you guys are saying. Authenticity, progress, and growth, adventure, faith, happiness, faith. Faith is a big one. Humor, reputation, determination, self-respect, and determination. We've got a double determination for Dale. I like that. I would say we're all here in one way or another because we are determined to succeed. We got another determination, another authenticity. So I want you guys to write these down, pop them in the notes section in your phone, and keep these in mind if you are trying to start a presence on social media. These values are going to be like your compass. And when you're not sure what to post, you're going to say, okay, well, let me get back to my values. So we want that to really come through. So that will take the content that you share from just random to being intentional. And that's what authenticity really is being intentional, being true, being exactly who you say you are, speaking what's on your mind, showing up in all of your fullness and your messiness. Your values are going to guide what stories you share, how you show up, and it's going to create that consistency in messaging. So people know, like if you wanted to attract new followers, you don't even have to be selling something or providing information, but if they know that you're going to remind them to be determined, they will be a follower for life and they will engage in your content and support your journey and support your career. So that's kind of where the values come into play. Does that make sense to everybody? Is this landing? Send me some fire emojis, give me some hands up if you guys are with me here. So the goal is always going to be to post content that aligns with those values, and what we share, we want to share with that purpose in mind. When people feel your values through your content, it creates trust. And when they can trust you, that's when they want to book you. So don't overthink it. A lot of the time, I get in, these things where it's like, well, what do I post? Or people will say, like, I don't know what to post. I don't have any pictures to post or whatever. But posts are just expressions. We're human beings. We are meant to express. So taking it back to your values, what are some ideas based around those values that you would want to share with the world? And remember, take the pressure off because there's 100 million Instagram accounts. So this is just like a very little corner of the internet that belongs to you. So make the most of it, have it be a true representation of you, but we also want to post with a purpose in mind. So we have a goal. We want to work as actors, we want to work as models, musicians, we want to be booked and known, right? So this includes some practical things like portfolio and digital updates. I do teach a workshop about portfolio building and then a separate one about digital. So please be on the lookout for that. Behind the scenes, we already talked about. But the reason behind the scenes is so important is because when people visit your Instagram who may have the power to hire you, they want to know that you've been on a set before. So anytime you're on a set, make sure that you have a goal in mind. If you're permitted, if there's no, you know, no posting rule or whatever, but most of the time you can take a selfie in the makeup chair as long as you're not showing what the project or the product is. You can take selfies with your makeup artist and just show that you're on set and that you're working because that provides value in and of itself that you have some experience. Any training that you do, any rehearsals that you do, any self-tapes that you film, you could just cut a little blooper and put it on there and have a real moment, make people laugh. Somebody's value was humor. So if you're rehearsing for an audition and you're practicing lines and you keep messing up, you could post something real and vulnerable like that. If you are like me, where Miami Swim Week is right around the corner, I'm still deciding if I want to walk in it or not. I haven't had any formal training of walking, but I did record myself walking the other day, thought about posting it. And these are things that share my journey and remind people not to give up, to persevere, to keep chipping away at where we want to be, what we want to do. Personality and lifestyle. So, can anybody explain to me what lifestyle means? Um, because we have lifestyle modeling. I'm not sure if any of you guys have ever heard of that before. But it's basically right down to like how you live your life. You think about when you get a lifestyle modeling job, it's just you out. Let's say you're modeling for a sunscreen company. It's just you out enjoying your life, and you happen to have a bottle of sunscreen on the table near the pool, applying it. It's how you move through life. And these things can be captured and they can be written about. Um, there can be pictures of them if you have a hobby. Like let's say you play in a rock band. Somebody said that earlier today. Get some photos of yourself, get some content of yourself, and just post it out there just so people can understand. Any inspiration, motivation. My favorite is having little heart to hearts, creative projects you're working on, challenges and wins along the journey. And then my favorite thing to express these days, I just always take it back to gratitude. I'm just at a point in my life where gratitude really helps me get by every day. There's so much, instead of focusing on what we don't have, really focusing on all that we do have can make such a difference. And I do believe that people associate my brand with that optimism, with that positivity, with that reminder. Sometimes I post a lot in reflection about what something means to me or life experiences that I'm having. I try to document that, and that's all ties into lifestyle as well. So the gift of social media. So instead of thinking, oh, well, I don't have a social media following, I haven't even been on Instagram, I'm not good at it, think about what it can give you to connect with like-minded people. I have a ton of people that I follow that I've never met, but because they provide good information, good inspiration, and I'm invested in their journey, sometimes I open up social media and I don't feel so alone. Sometimes I get a message that I really needed to hear that day. So there was a time when social media was just kind of associated with like Facebook or whatever, where we have friends that maybe we went to high school with that we haven't seen in 20 years. So social media is not for that. So your Instagram is not for that. So I encourage you to do some exploring on there and find people who inspire you so that when you open the app, you can be aligned with those people. It's also a practice of getting comfortable with being seen, which we're going to talk about next. Finding your voice, using the gift of expression through photos, through words, through music. It's all available to you on that app. My favorite thing lately has been to post with some music over it because sometimes the lyrics help explain what I'm trying to say. Attracting clients and aligned opportunities for work. We spent like the first quarter of the last half hour talking about how that can really attract clients and they can see that you're really a great fit for the project and they like who you are, not just how you look or how you present on camera. They really like who you are. And that's what really kind of creates longevity in this industry because you could have been such a joy to work with that these people can then get your foot in another door and say, hey, I just want to recommend you for this project, or I'm going to introduce you to this director. Um, so keep that in mind as well. Show your greatest superpower, authenticity. A lot of you guys mentioned that as your top value. Authenticity, if you guys want to drop in the Q&A what it means to you, how it shows up for you, what it means in your daily life, or just jot it down and think about it as you move through the rest of your weekend. How and why is authenticity an important part of your career and your life? Okay, so I told you guys we would talk about conquering that fear of visibility or getting comfortable with being seen. This is a huge part of the workshop. This is where we start to break down our notions about social media and our mindset and how we can shift it. So, obviously, we know that every model and actor needs visibility. We need to be known, we need to be witnessed, we need to be seen, we need to show up, we need to perform, we need to light up rooms, we need to sometimes make people feel things in whatever script we're reading, whatever character we're playing. The model's job is to sell a product, so to believe in a product so much and how it makes you feel. So that visibility that we need, a lot of it can be practiced or we can get comfortable with it through the social media use. Um, no one really teaches you how to build that because sometimes it's just between you and what layers you're willing to share and what you're not. Um, so I think it's important to understand you could be insanely talented, but if no one knows you exist, it's going to be a much harder road. So it's kind of like if a tree falls in a forest, does it make a noise, right? I don't know if that's a reach there, but we need that visibility is what I'm saying. We need to create that visibility and get comfortable with being seen because I don't know if any of you guys get stage fright still or if you get nerves. Um, One way to kind of work around that is to just put yourself out there, right? Authentic posts. So, studies show that there are some psychological barriers to promoting oneself online. So, I ask you guys if you want to share or if you want to just reflect on this, no worries. What scares you the most about being visible online? Have you ever hesitated to post something because it felt like too much or not enough? And what held you back? So I think in the beginning of my career, I struggled a lot with like comparison, where, I could see these other people who are really far ahead in their career posting all their new work and all their new jobs. And comparison, I had to kind of get out of my mind. It is the thief of joy. I don't know if you guys have heard that. So we need to find joy in what we offer and stay in our own lane. I posted my poetry before online in fear that maybe it was too much. But I like poetry and I like deep feels and I like to connect. So that can sometimes feel like too much too. And then what scares me the most about being visible online is like people maybe finding me or um, you know, saying mean things or judgment. I know that being a model, I think we face a lot of scrutiny where people kind of don't understand all the layers of vulnerability that it takes to be a model, and they just think, oh, well, she must be obsessed with herself. Um, but I worked really hard. I worked really hard to be a part of the fashion and beauty industry. And I feel like a lot of people don't know all of the sacrifice that it takes and a lot of rejection. So I often argue that models are like the most humble people because they know that any role that they got or were blessed to have could have been handed to the next person. So it's just maybe something that I need to post about too is kind of like breaking that stigma and revealing, how I feel and not just how I look. But if fear wasn't a factor, what kind of content would you post more of? Yeah, I would break down those stereotypes. And yeah. So fear of visibility can look like, if you guys are kind of questioning still, it's second guessing every caption or photo, writing posts but never hitting publish, comparing yourself to others, just playing it safe with generic content. Have you ever gone on a model's Instagram or something and it's just like selfie after selfie after selfie after selfie after selfie, and it's like, okay, we get it. I would say that person is just playing it safe. They're leading with their beauty, but they're not really seeking to connect. Worrying more about likes than sharing your message. That was something I had to drop many years ago, is that I don't care how many people like my stuff. If it's true and authentic and aligned to me, it deserves a place on my feed. And if it's posted with intentional content, then it's going to help me get more bookings and gain more visibility for who I am. feeling exposed when strangers comment or follow you, and then shrinking your online content so you won't attract criticism or judgment. So, if we were to rewire our brain out of fear, we'd have to ask ourselves, whose voice am I hearing when I struggle to be visible? Because I doubt it's actually you and your heart. I think it's more so like a protection method of the ego. Common patterns of thinking that perpetuate the fear is thinking, oh, well, I'm too XYZ. I'm too inexperienced. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too short. Um, I don't have enough XYZ. I don't have enough followers. I don't have enough practice. I don't have enough skill. Or people will think XYZ. What will they think? And so I'm very big on that mindset shift. So when these thoughts creep in and they're perpetuating that fear that wants to keep you small and invisible and hidden because you're more comfortable there, that opposing voice, you have to literally work it into your mindset and kick those doubts away. So, my work and my words are medicine and inspiration for some people. I was working with a mentor about 2 years ago, and I'll never forget when we were talking about this topic. She's the one who explained it to me. And she said that your words can be medicine for people. And I just thought that that was so powerful. We don't have the means to go out and talk to people all day and connect, but social media makes it so easy to reach people. So, what is your message? Not everyone will like me. And that's so true, and it's nothing to take personal. I love coffee. Not everybody loves coffee. I love living in Florida. A lot of people can't survive the summers here. So it's the same with you. Not everyone's gonna like you, but if you like you, then that's the most comfortable place that you can be at. I want you guys to start thinking of yourself as an artist too. We are in a creative industry. We make art, and that deserves to be seen. I will not play small to make others more comfortable, and your light deserves to shine. All right, let me see. I saw some comments rolling in. Certainly being new to this, I'm too dot 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 can for sure appear. Yeah, I have no problems posting my work. I'd rather be judged for that than who I am. Amazing. Cyberbullying is a huge problem we all read about. There's always going to be trolls who hide behind a keyboard. Yeah. Luckily, I haven't experienced too much of that. I feel like my friends would go crazy on somebody who tried to talk bad about me in my comments. Never been afraid to go too far, that kind of thing. Have given me my current reach. Amazing. Criticism. Authenticity means being real. Do you ever post failures or challenges you may have faced? Yeah, I talked a lot about in the beginning of my career when body positivity was like this huge thing coming out. I've talked about um, living alone at 35. I feel like it's a huge market. The dating scene, all of that. Failures and challenges is definitely a huge part. But it's usually like what I've learned from it. Um, when I'm in the midst of dealing with a hard thing, I usually wait to post about it until the lesson has emerged because I always love to provide the light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's really important. Sometimes when you're going through it, um, you just have to wait until it passes, right? Where your fear is, there is your task. So, building visibility, how do we do that online? Using video to your advantage. So, Instagram started as just a photo sharing app, and now you can make videos, you can add music to it, you can talk, you can sing, you can dance. So, let people hear and feel you. That's a great way to build that authenticity. Leveraging trends authentically so you can hop on trending sounds or hashtags. cross promoting. I have a lot of my reels are being shared to my Facebook right now, which is funny because it's like my uncles and my cousins and my aunts. Um, or Threads. Does anybody use Threads? I absolutely love Threads. If you haven't been on Threads, once you create your Instagram or you can connect your Threads to it, um, that is definitely a way to cross promote and get more eyes on your work. Engage with intention. Visibility is reciprocal. So, somebody earlier said they had showed up because they're looking to gain and build their following. So, we're going to talk about that as well. Tagging strategically can definitely help you. Tagging brands, following photographers, stylists. It's like Instagram can be like your network, right? And so it's really important in this industry that you have support and you see things that are being done and you know about the industry. So I'm getting a lot of Miami Swim Week content and material right now. It's really important that I stay in the know. But to optimize your profile, I need you guys to understand that you have to have a public profile. If you want to have a private profile, have that be your personal page, but it should be set to public. Your photo should be clear up close of your face. We want to have them see the details of our face upon looking at our page. Have a clear and detailed bio related to your modeling and acting. So you're going to say where you're based, what you do, and if you want to have a separate personal IG from your career page, that's what I started to do. And it definitely helps me separate a little bit so I can focus on my professional goals. And then for my personal, I can just post for me. Your bio can include 150 characters. So again, location, public profile, describe what you do, who you are, your agency, maybe your contact info, and just keep it professional and relevant because one of the most important things of your bio is to have your location. So if people were to stumble upon you, they know exactly where you're based. Now you can put it towards the biggest city toward nearest you if you don't want to put like your actual hometown. But I just put South Florida so people know I'm not a New York model. I live in South Florida. Obviously, I'll travel up to New York, but once we post our pictures, our videos, and we have all of that, we have a piece of content. There's another layer that we can add, and that's in the caption. So the caption is really where you get the heart. That's the writing. That's why people stay on your post to read what you've written. So I always like to captivate, connect, or contribute, the three C's. Give more information, tell stories, express, inspire, teach, motivate, and connect. So in the beginning of my Instagram days, I posted photos from my test shoot and I was just reflecting on the day and I decided to really bring them in on what that experience was like for me, right? Lifestyle. So lifestyle experiences. I talked all about the photographer and his friendship with the makeup artist. They were two gay men. We talked a lot that day about the differences between men and women and how I walked away with a sense of hope for friendship. Two men who have been friends for over 20 years in the industry who love what they do. We talked about love and how it's real. And yeah, it was just kind of like a little bit of a paragraph. And I think I got like 1,000 likes on it. And it was definitely a bid for connection. I didn't realize it at the time. I was just being myself. But now that I'm teaching these workshops and I'm seeing what really works and what doesn't, um, that's one thing that I would say is like explain, provide another layer of what this day was like for you. If you can leave them with, a breath of fresh air or a deeper understanding of who you are. So that's how you make that lasting, strong impression because we can post pretty pictures all day. So it's just another touch for that relatability. Again, you can add music to your post. If you don't have too much to say, that's totally fine too. It really depends on the day how much I want to express, how much I want to let people in, how much time and effort I want to spend writing something. But always seek to really make the most of that caption. So, moving into followers and growth, one thing that I've learned about the following is that if you are just focused on getting followers and getting followers and getting followers, it can lead to burnout. It can lead to exhaustion, right? And losing the purpose of what you're here to share. So I want you guys to think of our followers like your community, your network. We want to live in a healthy, supportive community, so we want to create that connection, not just have a crowd, right? So it's like, let's say you're a music artist and you sold all these tickets, but none of the people there know your music. You just have a crowd. You don't actually have people that are connected. So, to post with the intention of gaining followers, you could use hashtags, you could jump on trends, you can put hooks in your reels so people want to stay or they want to educate them or whatever. But I strongly suggest that focusing on your engagement is more important than building followers. So what I mean that by that is you want to have a small, loyal audience that likes, shares, and comments. So if you happen to get 3,000 views on something and you got, let's say, 500 likes. These are big numbers. This is hard because Instagram makes it hard with the algorithm these days. But really, what you want to see is a ton of comments of people who are cheering you on. So, how do you get people to comment? I always thought that the better your content was, the more comments would roll in. But I realized that when you are supporting other people, commenting on their stuff, liking their stuff, it attracts to your page the same type of reciprocity, right? That is what I feel like the Instagram age is all about, is supporting each other. Um, Especially through COVID, it was crazy. It just opened up like another layer, right? So you can message on Instagram. I've messaged models before for advice. I've introduced myself to photographers before. I've booked work off Instagram before. So really use that communication to uplift other people as well. How would you want to be treated on your posts when you're exposing or telling a story or sharing something? You would want people to engage. So you have to then provide that for other people. And that's how most of the time I've gotten my loyal little following where I feel connected to. Um, and you want to make them feel like like they're part of your journey. So, talking about the algorithm a little bit, because it's kind of like another layer of this, but your post will get pushed out more into the ethers of social media when it rewards you basically for your activity and your consistency. So if you hopped on Instagram and you posted something and then you closed Instagram, you might get 2 likes. But if you posted on Instagram and then you spent 10 minutes engaging and liking with other people's stuff, the algorithm will reward you for that and they will push your content out. So, that being said, there's a lot of content being pushed out on social media on a daily basis. So, and what's really weird, I know you guys probably know this, but if I were to like speak into my phone, chicken Alfredo, chicken Alfredo, chicken Alfredo, I bet you the algorithm's gonna send me something about Alfredo sauce, chicken, something. So there's a lot of things that can be consumed on social media. So the power of social media too is that you can follow and engage with people who inspire you. So every time you open up social media, you can see an actor. These are our expanders. Little hint on what an expander is, as mentioned earlier. You can be in the know, follow film and theater directors, stylists, makeup artists, industry veterans, educational and motivational accounts. I have somebody on there who teaches runway. She's offering live in-person training in Miami. I might take her up on that. Um, and just seeing other people succeed and post their journeys helps me know that it's possible. So you can control what you see on your feed. So if you want more education in the modeling world, in the acting world, if you want to find actors, it's all about what you double tap on and what you're engaging with, and then it will send more content like that your way. So you can also do searches by hashtags. Let's say the closest city to you is Los Angeles. You can hashtag Los Angeles photographers and go look through all of the Los Angeles photographers who used that hashtag on their posts. So there's like a world of information for you. So you can use that Instagram intentionally to build up your network and be able to provide more content for you to benefit from. The future in this industry is what you create. Start posting, start shining, start being you. So we have some time for some questions, but I have some ideas for you guys. So ask yourself, what's that one thing I can post this week that feels brave? Reduce perfectionism, just post. You can reintroduce yourself to your audience, or you could just create an intro video. That's also really important for casting directors to get their eyes on. Maybe one thing that they don't ever get to hear from you is why you decided to start acting or start modeling. Maybe there's a story there of inspiration, of connection that would help if you just created it and posted it on your Instagram. And then for those of you who already have an existing Instagram or TikTok, I want you guys to audit it this week and see, is any of my posts not helping me represent myself in an authentic standpoint? Is it not aligned with my values? Is it just fluff? What can I archive and kind of trim down to make it more meaningful? Look over your bio, make sure you have all your information in there, and just remember that it's up to you to share your own little unique vibe online. And I know you guys can do it, and it doesn't need to be done all in one day. You can do, on average, I post maybe 3 times a month, but Instagram also allows you to post stories. Again, the messaging, the liking. So spend some time seeing what other creators are out there and what they have to say and how they're doing it. One thing I really love to do is go to model agency websites, look at all the models that they represent, go to their Instagram and kind of see how they represent themselves online. I love to look at work and photography online. I follow a ton of photographers and like their stuff. And when I do that, sometimes I get a follow back. And then I've just added one more to my community, one more little inch towards more visibility. That's really what it's kind of all about. So these pictures, this is from a recent shoot that I did in Sarasota. And I definitely posted them on my Instagram and was able to tag the brand and the location. So it's just providing more information and showing what I'm up to, how I work, how I play, what's inside my head. So I hope that that was a good breakdown for you guys about social media. I hope you guys are feeling renewed about maybe your ideas of social media. I hope you're feeling inspired to start sharing and creating. If you guys have any questions, you guys can pop them in the Q&A. I want to thank you guys for showing up. This has been wonderful for me to start my Saturday this way. I did want to share with you guys future dates. So May 4th, if you guys are not busy on Monday nights, we'll be talking about it's a very big motivational workshop, I will say, because as artists and creators in this industry, we need every bit of inspiration that we can get. So it's like a one big powwow where we all inspire each other. I give you guys practical tips to keep your head in the game, to keep the hope and the faith up high, because that is what gives you momentum and sustainability in this industry. So you can have really good busy months, and then you could have a month where you don't book anything, and it happens to the best of us. So it's really important not to give up in those moments. And I think that that's a key part is being inspired by what you do and where you can go and how you do it, how you handle the rejection, how you handle the challenges too. So that's going to be on Monday the 4th. And then May 18th, we have our prep workshop. That's also Monday night at 8 p.m., all about how to prepare for your first day on set, because if we're here and our head is in it, then we're getting opportunities to audition for things. And then one of these days, the phone's going to ring and they're going to say, you got the job. But you're going to say, I've never been on set before. I don't know what to do. So we go over all of what to expect, how to prepare. And we talk a lot about what it means to be a professional model or actor on set. And then on the 23rd, it was another Saturday. We're going to be doing the portfolio building workshop that I talked about. We have some posing techniques in there, a lot of visual examples for what constitutes a good, strong portfolio if you guys are interested in modeling specifically. But I always say that actors need that camera presence as well. They need to be able to act and move on screen as much as they need to be able to pose for photos too. So these are all being offered next month. So very helpful session. Do you mind if I email questions? Of course, you can email me. I put my email right here for you guys. I also put my Instagram if you want to follow my journey. Thank you for your insights. I definitely will be rearranging my IG account and making a personal account as well. I found that that is like the easiest to just separate because like I went to a farm this week with my friends. We were had a day off together. We went to a farm and I had all these cute pictures and I said, this isn't really relevant for my modeling. I just want to keep this moment for myself, but my modeling page is more all about that brand that I'm trying to push, all of the relevant stuff, because you don't want the casting directors to have to fish through all of this stuff. You want to keep it really clear and have like really the most important things to you that are going to help you build your career on that page. So the separation for me has been very helpful. But on my stories, I'm always posting like my dogs, what I do, stuff like that, just to give like a more personal layer. So I hope you guys enjoyed this workshop as much as I did. There's so many layers to social media, but I tried to simplify it for you guys as best as I could. Email me, DM me if you have any questions. And if this is the start of your journey, I can't wait to be able to share the Zoom room with you guys again and again. I'm here every month, and it's my greatest honor to be able to connect with you guys and lead these workshops and help you guys along your journey. So, if you are here and you're listening, thank you so much for showing up. Thank yourself also for showing up. And I will see you guys in the future. Best of luck to you all. Have a great weekend. Thank you again.